Welcome into the first DNVR Avalanche pregame show of the season. We are probably still like 45 minutes away from actual puck drop based on this Boston game, but we're back. Hockey's here, and as hockey is coming soon, we got the whole squad here for opening night. We're going to talk about the game, talk about the season, talk about the hype. Let's get into it. First of all, Avs, I mean, other than Landeskog, obviously, pretty darn healthy. No Cogliano, not that surprising given
Avs are pretty healthy, except for this guy that's missing opening night.
Well, you know.
Their backup goaltender, who may or may not still be alive, we don't really know.
Compared to last year, they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like it continues.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But expectations for the night. Avs are on the road. They're playing in someone else's building on opening night. There's always kind of weirdness about that. What do you guys think? The Avs come out hot, or are we going to see a sloppy, slow start?
Both.
That's you can be both.
I think it'll be
both. That's
it'll be
fair.
a highly energetic start. How effective it is a moving target for every single game, as we've seen so far. I imagine it'll probably be pretty sloppy.
Sure.
Especially against LA.
I mean, I think that's a curious conversation, too. On the LA side of it, is this a new look LA? I feel like they've been a team for a long time that have been we're going to grind you out. We're going to try to win this game 2-1. It's how we like to play. But they have an energized forward core. Obviously, we'll talk about PLD in a minute. They have goaltending, which is a gigantic question mark. Is this a team you expect to score more this year?
I mean, they're built down the middle pretty strong, right? You know,
Yep.
so
As long as Kopitar continues to be ageless.
which I mean, I think he is
Still.
ageless. I mean, this guy's like a machine. I do believe they'll score more this year. Obviously, they still got Doughty on the back end. They got some mobile guys back there. I do expect the Kings to score a little more. I think, like you said, the question mark's in net. I think tonight, I think you're going to see an exciting game. I think both teams are supposed to be making the playoffs. I mean, I think we've all picked, the Kings to be in there.
Yep.
It is a home opener. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a little electric. It's late for us. But I'm excited. I think this sets the tone. I think this is going to be a very fun game tonight. If you look at Montreal and in Toronto right now, that's pretty exciting. So early in the season, I think AJ said it, and I think he's right. It's a little sloppy, and you're not on point yet. And we all know that the Avalanche are so powerful, and I think this will be a highly entertaining game, and maybe you're going to see some goals here.
I like referring to them as powerful, like the Avalanche are He-Man. I think that's awesome.
They are powerful.
McKinnon holds up his stick and screams, I have the power!
He'll probably throw the stick.
Where did you guys have LA finishing in the Pacific?
I think third.
Somewhere in the middle.
I don't remember where I
I had him
them.
pretty high.
Thought I was high-ish as well.
I had him pretty high.
Hey,
I
if you
think
want
I
to see
was-
our predictions, you can go watch the Pacific preview
Prediction,
video.
I need to go back and look at it because I agree with Eric. I think they're built really well down the middle.
There might have been a
Dano,
one for
PLD,
me. Yeah.
And the goaltending is the only thing that remains just a little bit suspect, and the bottom of their decor. But so does the Avs. Not the goaltending, but the bottom of the decor. Just
Yep.
a little bit of a question mark.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's really health, like the health of Josh Manson is the question mark.
For
because
sure.
Yeah.
if healthy, I have a
No
lot of
problems,
confidence
yeah.
in Josh Manson, and Jack Johnson is a perfectly satisfactory I almost said goaltender, defenseman for the bottom of the
You know
decor,
what you're
so-
going to get out of him for
Yep.
sure.
Exactly. So, LA is built pretty well, though it's the goaltending that remains just a little bit suspect. But up front, pretty competitive, and I do expect then more goal scoring from LA this year.
So, I mean, let's talk about their new guy in PLD. Expectations for a guy who, is a pretty long stretch of time there where it was clear he wanted out of Winnipeg. He ends up in
After
LA.
a long stretch of time where he wanted out of Columbus.
Yeah, he's moved around a couple times, but he ends up in LA. He signs that big deal. What does LA want out of PLD? Does this guy need to be I would assume not someone who's going to help on the Selke side, given they already have Dano and Kopitar ahead of him.
Yeah, and he's not that good.
But where are his point totals coming in for LA? Do they need him to be a 60-point guy plus?
Yeah, I mean, just the financial commitment that they made for him, they need him to be 65.
Okay.
Like, minimum.
Sure.
Like, if
really
he's
pushing closer point per game
yeah,
level
if
stuff.
he's not in that neighborhood of 65 points, they have a huge problem. Or better, obviously.
Yeah. Of course.
So, yeah, they need him to be a play driver for them. They need him to bring. They've got two great defensive centers, but they need PLD to be big and strong and live up to all of the potential that he's like flashed in his career, but has kind of been submarine because he's just kind of been a whiny punk ass most of his career.
So take away the whiny punk ass part, and I kind of wanted to bring this up because I'm doing a lot of comparing of PLD to Ryan Johansson in Colorado. Are these two guys, I get Ryan Johansson doesn't have the contract, but in similar spots right here where they're coming into teams that are expecting to compete, and is there some weight on these guys' shoulders, or is this more of an opportunity for them?
Well, looking Ryan Johansson, then comparing both teams, PLD has a lot of pressure because Ryan Johansson's on a team that has a back end that also contributes a lot offensively. And
true.
I think that's where LA has a more defensively sound decor, but they're not necessarily contributing offensively the way that Colorado's blue line does. And so for that reason, then I think it's especially important for PLD to make up for some of that points production in the forward group and in the middle of the lineup. And so for that reason, I don't know that same pressure is on Ryan Johansson. But they are in similar positions in that they have something to prove. And in PLD's case, it is living up to the contract and also the fresh start. Like, this is exactly what you asked for. Now that you have it, you have to seize that opportunity. So I'd almost say that the pressure is actually heightened for PLD than it is for Ryan Johansson. But we've talked about Ryan Johansson at length. He still has a lot on his plate to prove. I just think that there's a great deal more pressure on PLD's shoulders because of what he means to the LA Kings and what role he needs to play for them.
I agree with this point. Johansson's he's got to get on track here, right? To savage, you know what I mean? So maybe his career, right? And so to speak, you know what I mean? Like get on top of, on a winning team.
Well, I think that's it. Raijo needs to decide. Does he want to play for a winner?
That's my point.
Does he want to play for a team that has the seriousness to compete for a Stanley Cup? And can he do that?
Not unlike the position Nazem Kadri was in when they got him.
That's my point. So I do believe he's going to file in rank, if that's the right expression. And as far as Dubois, here's what I'll say on that. I'm a purist. I'm like an old school guy. Like, I'm older, but I think, I don't like when people like demand like where they can go. It's just not me. I don't like that.
Well, your dad was a GM, so I can see where that comes from.
No, I know, but I'm saying like, and Dubois, that's all I am. I actually know his dad really well, so great guy, awesome guy, and I just don't see that traits of the personality of the family. But I just believe that you're giving yourself that everybody has pressure. It's a lot of pressure to play in the NHL. And I think you're just adding that more pressure, to what's already there. And I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of dictating, how things go. And, for me, it's more see where the chips fall, and that's where you play.
So here's the difference for me that Megan was talking about there is if PLD doesn't live up to that pressure, the Kings are stuck in that boat. Yeah. If Raijo struggles this year, obviously it's not good for Colorado, but there's only one extra year on that deal. They have Ross Colton behind him. They have options to work with there that LA simply doesn't. Right, exactly. Right. So in that sense, yes, it is two very different situations where there's a lot more flexibility on Colorado's side with Raijo, I would say. Which does lead me to our next topic, kind of mentioned with Ross Colton. Those role players for Colorado. This will be the first game. We've really seen that third line in a real, actual competition that counts. A night like tonight, is this a game for them that it's, hey, just get through it and don't hurt us? Or is this a, hey, we need you guys to perform starting immediately?
We'll give it to AJ.
Yes.
Both?
Immediately.
Okay. Sure. I think that's fair, but I also think the top guys might come out and do a lot of the heavy
Look,
lifting
you have elite
tonight.
players, so
You might get away
those
with
guys,
it if they
yeah.
don't.
We always put together, how do you win a game?
Sure.
You're not necessarily asking just on paper from this year's team. You're not asking Rantanen and McKinnon to score 2 goals a game anymore.
Yeah.
That's how they had to do it last year. You should feel so much better about the depth that 1 goal from the McKinnon-Rantanen line, and you can see a path to winning from there.
Yeah.
1 goal. If you get 2, you should win. If you get 2 goals from your time from those 2 guys,
And
from
you
that
get
top
1
line,
goal from anywhere else is all you need.
and because
right?
if you get between having one of the highest scoring defenses, you get a goal from them.
Yep.
You get a goal from your bottom 9.
Yep.
You're at 4 goals. You've won the game.
Well,
I wish it was that easy.
It is that easy.
It is easy.
They just had to pay $85 million to get to it. It's fine. It's that easy.
I'm gonna add to Megan's point. Megan just compared maybe the third pairing D for the LA Kings as being maybe a little bit of a question mark. Younger guys, I'm not even sure who's playing on third pair tonight for them, but
Andreas Englund.
England. Okay,
Not kidding.
Okay, so
Not
he's
kidding.
scoring a
and
goal.
is Spence
Yes.
in there, or I do believe Spence is in there, maybe, or is he?
I don't know.
I do believe.
Last
Anyway,
I saw, he had beat out Clark for that
that's
spot.
my point.
But I
Yeah,
don't know.
and I think So whatever.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is unproven guys. So my point is, to Megan's point and to your point, I agree with you, and Rudo as well will agree with me. Who do you think the LA Kings are going to send Doughty for? They're going to send him to McKinnon, right?
Right.
So now, which leads me to Ryan Johansson, the second. And now it's an easy, I'm telling you, it is, again, it's the NHL. It's never easy to play in the NHL. But if you're Wood, Colton, Tatar, you're playing against their third pair. That's just the way it is. And that's why I always say you should produce when you are playing behind the McKinnons of the world, and you're benefiting from not playing against those top NDs around the league. And it's an easier game. And if you've got speed, which they do, Wood, you'll see him pop on the screen tonight. This guy, goes and he's a bowling ball, right? He's just a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
And then you got some scoring in Tatar. And then Colton, I think the 4 of us love him. We love what he brings. We love what he does. He's so annoying. And, he's just so, tenacious and always in your face. And I do believe this is going to be a line that's going to be crucial, like AJ said, for this team. But I do believe, like I said, that they're going to be up to the task, and it's going to be fun to watch them.
This is an interesting projected lineup I'm looking at, but I do think that it favors, these matchups favor Colorado, especially as you get to the bottom of the lineup. And that's where, in talking about expectations and sort of making it broader and referring to it as the bottom 9 is actually feasible in my eyes, because I am expecting to see some growing pains from that third line, because throughout preseason, Tomas Tatar was sorting out some immigration things, so he missed just a couple of days there. And so even in those preseason games, this is a line that hasn't played together in game action very much yet. And so for that reason, on this stage, I think there is going to be some learning that is happening for the third line specifically, but the top guys are still the top guys. I expect them to lead the charge at the top of the lineup in the McKinnons and the Rantanens of the world to help paper over some of the growing pains that are inevitably going to be at the bottom of the lineup, to include that fourth line that I know we've talked about at length how we feel about Curtis McDermott at forward. But the only thing I will say to that is it does hold Freddie Olofsson and Logan O'Connor back just a little bit in what our expectation for them could possibly be tonight, because they're going to be extremely limited in their use beyond the penalty kill, which I expect to see both Olofsson and Ocean should the Avs actually go to the box.
Don't take any penalties.
Yes, hopefully they
commit
stay
any
out of
hockey
trouble,
crimes.
play a really disciplined game. But other than that, then it is going to kind of be up to the top 9 then at that point, because I don't think we see much of that fourth line. And of course, too, in going to the D side of things, this is a world where Cale Makar and Devontae's also exist. So I have pretty high expectations, but I am expecting a bit of a hot mess, like AJ alluded to, some of it.
And look, the thing about a hot mess is the Avs have the best player at every position in this game. LA does not have a player as good as Nathan McKinnon. They don't have a player on defense as good as Cale Makar. Their goalies are Phoenix Copley and a Cam Talbot. Georgiev's better than those 2 dudes. I'll say it right now.
Really going out on a limb.
I know I'm not saying much there, but some people like Cam Talbot. It's a whole thing.
He's fine.
Good guy. Good guy.
I'm sure he's a great guy. Okay goalie.
Yeah, exactly. and you got to remember what LA's doing because of all the cap restraints and Kaliev being suspended. They're playing with 11-6 tonight. They're playing, one short of a full roster on game one of the season. So that shows you how tight they are. And I think that can come to the advantage of the Avalanche on that sense.
Maybe the Avs should just play 11-6 too. Anyway, let's get
kind
to
of
our
are.
bets.
I mean, Curtis McDermott's
Gonna play 4 minutes or whatever,
I was
yeah.
gonna say 6, but yeah.
My bets for the day, I'm taking the Avs to win the first period at plus 185. McKinnon anytime goal on a night like tonight feels a little bit like free money to me, plus 120. And that sloppiness, I'm taking the over. I think we're going to see more offense than defense tonight. So those are my 3 bets. Of course, you can always go over to Bet365. Get a lot of. They have a ton of boosts for this game.
Yeah,
there's a ton of options. To
I read
choose
you
from.
like 4 of them.
Yeah,
It
just
was ridiculous.
So lots of choices over at Bet365. Never ordinary. Of course, you must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling problem. All right, we have like 3 super chats to get to really quick, and then this Boston game is over. So, $2 from Banks, who says we're back. Thank you very much,
Hell
Banks. $10 from Breezy, who also says we back. I'm officially a DNVR diehard as of today, and wanted to thank you for the content all summer long. Also, welcome Eric to the fam. Can't wait for an awesome, healthy season. Let's go, Avs. Thank you very much, Freezy. Appreciate you becoming a diehard for us. And then Broker with another $10 for us says, much like when Colborne had an opening day hat trick, what's your fun game prop today? I got Jack Johnson scoring his only goal of the season. There's always something weird that happens, right?
Let's go with Josh Manson.
Oof, hold on. I'm going with Dermy. The big fella's getting one
A
tonight.
big fella.
How about Georgiev goal?
Oh, I like that.
I mean,
What is that?
That's,
Plus what?
that's
I
the
will-
best
I
prediction.
probably couldn't even get that on
I'll
the
learn how to do
Go.
a backflip, and I'll do a backflip.
You're gonna have to learn quick because that goes an empty netter. So the post game's going fast after that. Thank you for the $10, Brokey. All right, Boston game's over. So we got to wrap up pregame, and we got a real hockey game to get to. We got to watch along coming your way in just a second. Tune
Let's
in.
go.
We'll talk to you there. We'll talk to you post game. Avs hockey is back, y'all. Bye-bye.
We all silly like the mayor.